Waiting on signal location echoes Euler lines, position locations on levels, Alpha Bravo, back line interference, reset locations all of the Gulf, track to correlate setting position locations, Zebra, Whiskey, Foxtrot. Directing line center time interference, waiting on direct signals to know exactly where you are in provision. Now, this puts your settings in high calculations. We have to be very cautious in what we do with our settings, our fingers, position of track lines, operation line interference, how we see things in provisions. It's all calculated to your inhibitors. The inhibitor line stream and line rotation is now in a ground lines of 24. Your track to correlation setting is really understand how to surface your systems, which is basically based on everything that you're coming into memory. The memory has a hippocampus location to its compartment setting. That's all calculated modified when it comes to your ecosystem as correlated in positions to your ecosystem. Okay. So in that track location line interference, it can bounce back and forth now. So the ego to the position location of where it is its own space line setting. Now to change the parallels and the paradox and the paradigms and the polar shifts and everything, the compulsories, is really understand where you are vision locations to your system of space and time through division. Okay, the sectors, vectors, and quads. Now there's three line waves. Now this is what Dolores Cannon was talking about. She was talking about the convulsions of the newer Earth, but I'm here to tell you exactly the conversions of the new Earth is in three sectors. Okay, so we all have to pay attention how it sets lines and communications. In that direct line condition settings, okay, the low conversion location is going to be 0, 1. Position of track lines is at high position locations in the 48 channel. Now they still set at position levels of the 24 ground setting, but position locations of Earth 2, line set at high interference is going to be 72, which is 0, 0, 1. Now the track to its correlation setting and direct locations in high center interference of 0, 0, 0, 1 is 144. And that's where the soul plane is going to be in traction. Setting in position locations into your lines values you into volume. Okay, so we got a 24 line setting, north line, stream line, high position of track lines. Okay, and then the high positions, I gave you guys the human resonance, what's going on to do track location you're setting to your dynamic core. Your northwest, south, and east is in position to sectors, vectors, and quads. Sectors, vectors, and quads. Three waves. Splitting anomalies of the parallels of one position location space line in your particle accelerator is understanding how to split it in 6 ways and forms. 6 channel streamlines of 7, which is the bodies of water. Now this tracks the set location line setting to inhibitors. Okay, through 6 channels, 8 line division infinity, and line calculation setting. Okay, now it's 9 division locations, bringing in 6 position of 9, puts balanced communication yin and yang. That gets very complicated because you have to understand how this surfaces your line interference when you come in position location to a system. Low mediation, medium mediation, and high mediation. Okay, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, and 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, those are the 3 waves. Okay, the intersection connections, high channels, its volume. Now this is where it comes into vast. Vast position of track lines puts operation line cycles. In that direct signal to its locations. All right. Now, in that line interference, we have to really understand how to set position to our settings, to its locations. Getting in that position of track lines puts you high levels of value. Now, value is extremely important because that puts levels of you where you are, okay, in your connections, because you're all particles. Particles, prodigies, profits, all that location line interference. The only difference is position locations bring you guys into your model genes, into your particle system. God particle line center, like Kinish, has an atom line. So position of track line. Here's an atom. Okay. Atom equals lines of GOD. GOD, surface location of teleportation, which is tango. And line set location of theta, theta line interference of box, line calculation of triangulation, reset position programs. Now, in direct signal, triangle high is the center line interference, triangulation of 3 set position program locations, high center location of indication. 3 line signatures, line position locations of platforms through pi. Position line setting, okay, all calculation. All right, indirect signal locations comes in this line. Waving lines are high position of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There it is. Boom. Now the clock line, waving line centers alpha, delta, and 3 lines of wave, direction timelines. That the location's highest center interference. Center lines is communication, ground lines, surface, and traction. Putting position locations, one indicates flux capacitor, lines, and grounds. The position all levels. Opens up a flywheel, line calculates the setting, and directs center position operation. Sets locations, all right, in a 4 lines, 5 lines, a 6 and a 7 line communication of bodies of water. Okay, done by equation. Okay, so that's going to travel out setting. Recognition of time sequence, guys. You have to really understand how this all works so you assume resonance. Now we've got the graph lines, rotation line interference, waving cycles, alpha, delta, theta. Okay? Graph indicates high center interference of 0, in position of 1, in position of 2, 3, and 4 settings. Okay? So 0 ground lines, high interference, ozone line, rotation, position location equals lines of 5, 5 lines, location of 2, 2 lines, center location, setting to 7. 7 track to set locations, right? Now but it's position of patterns. Now the 1 indicates lines of 2, cross the stream, cross the stream, cross the stream location. Now in that direct line center interference, we change the alpha line, the delta line communication crosses a graph lines, calculation and graph interference. Change position attractions. Puts line 60,000 comes in, center line rotations, scans position locations in all levels of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 line channels of high position operation. Now in direct line connection line interference, another communication XD1000 comes in cross stream. Crosses line centers, high positions of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, line position location attraction. Okay? Sending line calculation to grids, positions of pi. Okay, send position location line interference, positions of pi, direct line position location operation. Sentence correlation high interference and set location line sentence of 0 equal lines of 24, 24 line interference equals line calculation of 0, 1. Position locations into 0, 0, 1, and position location of 0, 0, 0, 1 attraction. Done by equation. It's all set up. It's all set up. Done. Setting position of track lines, crop circle line division. Now the 24 cycle sets lines of calculation. All right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It's all set up. Okay. Waiting on signal because we're going to come back to that graph line. Routers and rudders. How the sun comes in line signals and high line rotation position of travels. Sun comes in line rotations waiting on position. Okay. Moon crosses line setting into dimensional line into solar line wave. 2 panel communications cross lines and add line interference. Direct signal location and triangulation of 3 set line condition of program settings. Direct locations, triangulation of lines at 3 set position. Okay. Now, position location line settings, we take the 24 lines of grounds. Okay, ground line set locations, we take the 24 line signature locations and all high position locations. Mediation and 24 line signals. Calculation in lines of 2 4-line rotations and position track lines. 2 solar generation lines and interference and position location metric streams of center line interference. Sun comes in line position location attraction and all levels of formation. Okay, done by equation. So I'm setting up sequence patterns in correlations high setting of time. Box position location line centers, 24 line setting, crosses lines of 2 location of streams. 24 indicates high center interference, 24 lines of crop circles, and 24 line interference and track locations under the ground line center locations into 300,000 line. 3 line zeros and 3 line interference of the Grothians, triangulation reset position programs. Set correlation high direct signal, position all levels of pattern, position of travels. Now, the indicate line interference sets line calculation setting 24, 24, 24, 24. Wall center communications, right? Through pi, direct position operation. Calculation high interference, 24 signature lines, putting a waiting signal of 1300, the location of 1300, and 1300 ground line center and position operation surface. Done by equation. So put you guys in the platitude lines and a line interference of 24 line streams, earth line rotation center. 24 grounds, high center interference, 24 lines of measure, 24 lines of scales, 24 lines of space and time. Positions of pi, direct location setting. Operation signals, 24 lines equals lines. Intrack location of 48, track line calculation is 0, 0. Position of track lines, 1 8 highest center interference, line position location setting, and position of particle center interference. Bracket 24 equals lines of 4 lines of 8 line rotation setting and attraction. Done by equation. All right. Waving cycles and high center interference, guys, puts bulb the various center locations at 144. 144 equals 24. calculation high center position. 2 tracks is line communication setting. Pass reference, timeline, time streams times pi, direct sig location. All right. Now indicate we split the anomalies in 6 lines of streams. Okay, we've got 3 here line rotation. Waiting on signal line interference, orbs, channels, sets, lines of communication, all levels, and position of Stargate panels in direct location center. In line calculation setting, we've got 3 lines, split to high communication of 2 lines and 4 lines of anomaly, 6 position travels. Now, in that line interference, we have the Earth line, we have the Earth line, and we have the Earth line. It's that position travel communication. 3 Earth line communications. Direct line calculation setting position all levels. Operation segments, high interference, XT1000 center, XT1000 center, XT1000 center. Past, present, future. 3 line communications indicate high interference. 3 line provision. Sets locations at 3 line provision. And it sets position of 3 line provision location of setting of traction. Okay? Now, in that line interference, the center line communication of the Earth sets the location of Earth line communications. Earth equals 1. Set locations Earth equals 2. And connections of Earth equals 3. Okay, so we got calculation above lines, 24 line centers, high position levels, balanced position of track lines, diamond core line centers, pyramid line rotation, center position of traction. What if it's location of film projection line setting? Now, in that line interference, we go into line communications. So we go into 48, which is 01, and we go into all levels of 72, which is 001, and we go in line calculation setting into 0001 line conditions, which is also a position travel communication setting into 144 track locations. Done by equation. It's all set up now. All right. All right. So setting the position lines of patterns, sets lines of routers, set lines of solar grid disks, platforms of communication line streams, direct signals, that position operation surface, sets in communication. All right. 6 panels, line calculation settings, Earth line rotations, 1, 2, and 3. All right. 01, 001, and 0001. 48, 72, 144. 24 line centers in set position operation into your pyramid line stream. Now, in direct signal, we opened up the channel stream locations of setting. This is how it set up lines of anomaly and space line, and position location is system of traction. Okay? Done by equation. Getting intelligence. Hello. Powerful, isn't it? All planetary lines, parallelized high center interference, particle lines and high interference accelerators now back in line into all levels of Earth 1, 2, and 3 line rotations into 3 waves. 3 center line communication setting, waving on signal, high position travel lines, back in correlation of traction. Okay, sending direct signals in position of stargates, star maps, star position locations into your academies as set level travels. Asgard. Asgard shifts anomalies in 3 lines of platform communication. 4 lines, 5 signatures, levels of patterns. Routers and routers, line signals, high line interference, and travel position to its operation surface. Done by equation. All right? All right, setting up bridge centers, line rotation centers, waiting on signal positions of patterns, coming in the track location, all levels and high interference, position location, 6 lines of channels, 7 lines of bodies of water, waiting on signal position operation surface, travel communication setting, and line interference and travel position to its operation. All right, so 24 lines, bracket communications, 3 lines of high center line positions, 4 lines of track communications, 5 line division line interference, 6 lines calculation high from water containment system, location of 7, 7 in line indicated, and 4 lines of 3 in set position of travel communications. Done by equation. It's all set up. Now, they didn't indicate high interference of pi. Pi reckons that 3 line waving line rotation, surface, and traction. Okay? So pi indicates the 3 lines into 4s in position of 5, 6, and 7 line connections. Okay? Now, this is how it sets up in all line rotations. All right? Correlates high center interference in position 2 into position lines. 2 lines of track, 2 lines of division, and 2 line surface. Tracks is correlates setting. Circle line rotation, surface travels. Set position of center and crosses stream. Center line calculation setting 0 line crosses line rotation. Center line calculation high position 4 lines at signal. Setting correlations operation line centers high position settings. Open all calculation of 4 line stream location of 2 settings. Set up the high calculation of parameters of parameter line interference and cross location of setting position of traction. Done by equation. All right. Coming into metric screens lines, the pyramid stream location and astral projection settings. Now, the 144 Stargate line stream is direct signals. Now, no position, location is operation, surface, and high calculation. All right. It comes to swirl lines, direct line signals, high calculations, flux capacitor, and two galaxy lines of openings, in line rotation, surface, and track communication. All right, so 3 lines, 4 lines of track locations. All right. So we got 4 in provision, 3 in line centers, 2 in line communication, 1 line interference, into 24 cycles and high position of travel. Okay. Now, in that direct signal high interference, we cross the line communication, bounces settings. This comes into your position location, your portals, into the line position to its operation. Okay. Center travels lines and 3 lines of indication. Okay. Indicates the pods in 3 lines, sectors, and position of all levels of quads. Now, position of track lines, next T1000 comes in, goes to the galaxy line, slips line in a rotation, sets position of 2 tracks. Communication next T1000 comes line signal, panels lines as 6 lines of rotation, surface, and down across location. Direct line center is high in 24 line rotation setting, 24 line communication of plateaus, 24 line centers of center position of operation. Operation line interference opens all position locations to its stargates of heaven line setting and high position of traction. Done by equation. Very complicated stuff. Very complicated stuff. Okay? All right. How are we all doing through line communication settings and attractions? Okay, let's see here. Just going to go through solar text lines, pre-flights, high track lines, high position location on levels. Let's go locations on high setting Geneva, Quartz, high position of Heather, line interference of Gypsy, Chris, Joshua. Let's go on line position of Johnny, Rendall, line interference Prismore, all set position levels of Danielle, calculation stream location system. So now you understand the importance of going to school, right? Because it just gets in a lot more confusion, but a lot more fun. Setting track to its communication setting directs the signals, guys, the modification of cycles. Right? But it's all set up now, right? Really understand how it grounds lines of set location here 01, 001, and 0001 location. It's all set up. So it's amazing how we come into this line calculation through pi on a 24 ground setting. All right, through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Powerful stuff. Pi indicates all levels of volume. Now, once you understand that setting is high standard interference, everything comes into clocking. And that's where we get the clocking line streams. Direct position location of 4 clocks in line location setting in a 1-track location. So that's 24 line setting, 24 streams, okay, 24 activations, and 24 locations. Okay. 0 line communications in the high center interference is 48, right, 40 line stream locations. So that's 2 lines, indicates lines of box into triangulation resets. Triangulation goes into the box location setting of traction. 24 lines is 72 computer frame. All right, so you got the computer line set location of travel settings and box location of system and travel calculation. Now, in that line interference, really understand the 24 on the clock lines. 12 lines indicates high center interference. 24 comes in high line rotation position of travel lines, direction of system and travel calculations. Now, directing lines of 48, circle line communication, sun lines, moon line, sets position of track communication. So when you get in line interference, 24 equals lines of high calculation of 001 line rotation, which is computer interference line position of travel lines of yin and yang, process line setting. Applications all levels. Now the 144, 24 line settings, 144 indicates line condition of 24 line settings, and high calculations to stream locations indicate high interference. So God particle line stream location, flux capacitor communication of 3 line centers and high in rotation positions, 4 over 3, 3 over lines, and 4 over 5, and 5 over 6, 6 over lines, high center interference of new bodies of water, communication setting, 7 line equals 144, and track location of set location. Done by equation. Very complicated stuff. All right, so that's going to travel out, position lines, come back line, division line interference, and travel communication setting and direct signal. Okay. Position as a graphs is ready to understand how to set lines of God particle line interference to set percent travel calculations. So you got a clock line rotation, sign communication, and line setting. All levels of operation come in sequence. So we change the graph line set line interference and direct position location of panels and align direct signals of operation. Done by equation. All right. So That's going to be weighted on signal because the graph line stream comes in one indicated. And then we go into space line, and we come into time. The perceptions, it's pi. Pi indicates line calculation setting to your diamond core line, routers and routers. Line strip, line calculation in position to its pod and line position. Calculation of I line centers and high setting. Position of track lines, I line rotations, face recognition line, rotation centers, and track location. Now, this puts this location of box line, T reception line communication, right? Direct line with panels communication as zero line operation surface and line calculation setting the panels and operation location. Okay, putting position of track lines opens all levels of high set locations into your track location face direction time sequence. Okay, done by equation. Okay, as that travels out. So your perceptions of pi now is the 24 line stream. Now the indicators is really understand how to set program settings and interactions. We have to really understand how volumes are settings. We understand how to use the 24 line stream locations, guys. Very powerful when you come in that position all levels. So 24 line setting, equalifications, height interference, one bracket, one hanger, one docile, DOSL, line calculation setting, docket, line calculation setting interference, into memory line calculation setting, and a rotation line interference, crossing line and rotations into dimensional line setting of Jupiter, in line calculation across and two line rotation surface. Okay. Measure accountability in line calculation of pyramids sets stream location to its indication. Right? So the locks the signals high calculation line back into home, right? Home, right? Home deposits line centers at two line tracks, two line positions, and two operation service, and two panels of communication. Now that puts in the sun, line calculation setting, graph line, streamline, high in line and position, all levels of operation. Okay? Very complicated stuff. Home. Okay? Home line connection is the calculations. Now the center position opens all signals. Operate line service, calculation stream location, high to its position. Okay? Very complicated stuff. But it's very powerful how these are all set position your settings. Okay? Okay. It's also going to be waiting on signal, communication, and positional levels. Coming in this line is center line of rotation. Puts positions to your seed pods in line directions and also the center. Travel calculation line interference, new three platforms in communication travel. Center line communication, your seed pods, directions, how levels, interpretation, stream location of three lines of indication. Right. So you get the X2000 in the center line, center rotation, center in position to its operation surface. Okay. Now it puts position lines at three track location settings and track communication. Okay. Sets a new line setting of new crop circle location of center lines. Ground lines at 24 lines of flux capacitor travels with location operation. Signifies high calculation alpha, delta, theta, and a mega line of rotation center line communication to its system of a dome center of high rotation. Okay. Done by equation. Okay, so that's going to travel out. Provision cycles in high center line interference and all position location of operations. Box line triangulation. Box equals triangulation. Equal lines of E, which is the energy line. Recoils, calculation high interference of 24. Equal lines of one measure. It's that position of travel. Okay, so we take the metric meter, calculation of scale, balances and communication setting, and all line rotation and position and balance. Balance position X2000 crosses line setting, interact to its communication, crosses line stream location of its indication. Now, in direct signal, line settings is all levels on how you see your location. There's the intelligence. Boom. Sets position track lines, zero line communication, 12 lines of highest interference, and 24 lines application of settings into containment line rotation of surface. Now, in direct signal, panel communication lines travels lines of three lines of highest interference, face recognition line and positions all levels of box, center line communication triangulations all levels, and E lines rotates center line and rotation surface and traction. Done by equation. All right. So set up the scales, guys. It's all about balancing your line calculation settings, how you surface your position of track through communications. One indicates line setting, and the line positions your pyramid line. So it's in a 24,000 line in line rotation of 24 million cross stream locations of indication that opens all panels of correlation setting directions to your pyramid's line stream location of setting. Now, direct line communication cross lines are 3 lines of high center interference. Direct communications X2000 comes in, scans lines of center, scans lines of balance, scans lines of grounds, and scans lines of surface and line interference of ozone location. Now, positions of platform, X2000 cross lines, sets position of cross lines, sets position location of circulation, lines across lines, high center interference, travel positions out the equations, back into the moon, and then the moon comes into a motion line track and set position operation. Sets location of the sun that sets a new communication line setting high interference and set position of its net. Net position of its travel lines, sets location of your pyramid line, and a film strip line set location of 24 million line streams and set location of travel. Done by equation. See? Boom. There it is. Okay. Sigma, alpha line setting, channel lines and stream locations. Box position line centers, triangulation resets, sigma location. Box line rotation centers and 3. Box location setting. Now, directing line panels, guys, you have to understand how to position your volumes, copy and paste, 4-line track location setting, and high line interference in your tesseract communication center. Verification center in position to its operation surface and position location high setting. Opens all position locations, all levels, to an orb, line channel, and line direct signals into the sun in line communication of 144 track location. Okay, done by equation. Now, energetic lines of waves sets lines of grounds, alpha, delta, theta, and line calculation setting in line positions. All right. So the attractors communications to all levels of Asgard and line communications, ground centers of operation. Okay, Asgard. Okay, now, walking signals of bridges, Hendel, position track lines and 3-line indicates its high setting. Now, position location comes into its pi. Pi position line, center line interference. Puts position locations into 13 channels, 13 operations, 13 positions, and 13 locations. Okay, that's 1 indicated lines of 3, 1 indicated lines of 3, 1 indicated lines of 3 lines, and 1 indicated lines of 3 lines of rotation, surface, and traction. Okay, done by equation. All right. Center your position location is all about understanding how you come into 1300 line settings in locations. Change the 3 lines, sets position locations into 1 line and 30 line 1 channels. Box positions equals lines of 24. 24 lines of 1000 line stream interference. Got an X8000 stream location, X lines, pi position of traction. Okay. Now, in that position of 3 line, 3 indicates a positive into 2 positive lines. That's 2 indicated high setting, right? Okay, so that's 2 equals over pi. Okay? So you understand how this is all set at location, you have 1300 lines? Because your track lines is now in line position of 2, and the line condition at all levels. 3 indicates high interference. Bring that into negative lines of positive. That put positions of 4, track locations, setting direct locations over lines of 1 pi into 4-line division locations, adding 4-line channels of 0-line interference and position of travel calculation. Okay, so that's how you guys got into 244 line rotations in your cerebral into what calculations of your Earth equals lines of 3-line interference in your track location of 144, track location, surge line interference of 144, and the heart direction of time sequence location of pi. Done by equation. Very complicated stuff, but it's all over the formula. So now you understand in that line of interference, we're going to wait on that signal. And position locations, this is where we high channel our stream locations. They get a 24 million line calculations equals lines of graphs. Okay, position levels coming in this line communications. Now, because your God particles are line signaling, you're coming in this line setting. So you get graph line communications, right? You start with graphs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 line settings, right? Indicates high center interference into 1 equals lines of 12. 12 equals lines of 12. Like condition is 24. 24 lines is cross line center line is 48. Line position of 72. 72 crosses lines. 144 lines of space. And 144 lines of time setting. Space and time and balance line interference and travel calculations. Done by equation. Hold on a sec, guys. Okay. There's always something going on. It's a disturbance, but set a visitor to track to its communication setting. Know exactly how this is all indicated. Okay. Now, once you understand how to use the 24 line stream, you understand the box lines, equal lines of triangulation. Okay. Working with surface. Now, positional levels. This is where you come into box triangulations. Okay. Position lines have 4 line signature stream locations and the 3 indications. Okay. 4 platforms. Okay. Once you understand what that is in traction, then you understand how it comes into the sun and the moon in line communication objection. Okay. Indicate the triangulation line setting. Now, inline interference, female sets lines of provision and 3 set locations. 1 indicates line setting in a circle line communication that all levels at set location to a system of a seed pod. Direct and communication lines indicates 4 line signatures and track location. Now that positions this ground line. This opens all the signals in a 24 stream location. Now that 24 lines platitudes its position all levels. High calculated settings in a 2 line ground, in a 3 line division, and a 4 line stream location of indication. Setting track to its communication sets line settings. So cross and line calculation. Scans lines and high center interference and 3 lines of center position of operation. Okay, very complicated stuff. Now coming into box line positions, guys, it opens all dimensional lines, screen lines in set position. More screen lines in set position. Comes in this position location, set confusion. Okay, so that confusion lines at 24 signatures and lines, 24 line centers, and 25 calculation stream locations. So that's 25 line signatures, 2 lines of pi, 5 indicates lines, that's negative or positive, into 24. Setting track to its communication setting sets all line center interference and line communications of platforms of center line communication setting and all direct signal to your system location. Okay, done by equation. How are we doing through track location settings? Okay, let's see here. Resetting the high calculations, formations of new perimeters, switch location positions. All right, good. So now the complication line setting is going to get more difficult now because set locations into immortals and line connections to your God particles is going to higher level setting of volume. So that's position location center, waiting on signal. Okay, so I just really want you to understand how to set these things up through its equation location of setting. Through 24 line grounds into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we add the equation lines, circle line interference, sets direct signals, in line positions of platforms, and line direct signals in your system location in your pyramid line setting. Okay. Now in line calculation setting, we change the graph lines. 3 lines of centers of 4, 5, and 6 location. Center lines of calculation 1, 2, 3, and 4 line rotation. Now the graph line sets high position to its dimensional line in a rotation of solar sail and correlation. Tracks correlation settings of 24 line streams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24. There, it's all set up. Boom. All done. All done. All done. Okay, so that can travel out. Boom. All right. Track line setting set in position to satellite signals are en route. Routing lines under high position locational levels. Moon track lines, Jupiter line communication, Mercury line interference, Neptune communications into Pluto position of travel. Indicates lines of 3 triangulation resets and 4 lines of high center interference position of time stamp. Line calculation, XT1000 waits on signal. Set lines of communication comes out in waving line rotation surface and triangulation. Out the equation lines, laser lines, lock line center, high line rotation position of travel calculation setting is 0 position of operation. Gets more complicated, right? Because you got particles that are traveling faster. 2 atom line settings. Okay, so that's 2 indicated lines of 2 line routers and routers, 2 position of track, 2 operation, and 2 balance. Okay. Security position line settings, open line rotation center, and all calculation position of programs of intelligent position of formation. Right? Fly direction of time sequence, line setting, and all levels of operation set location. Okay? Whoa, it's getting fun. Now, understanding how to calculate lines, the tunnel and the line center line interference is going to split the anomalies to travel calculation. Okay? Now, position location of platforms. 3 indicates lines of pi, direct line calculations of 2, sets correlations of 3, and line set locations of 4, into high 5 line centers of 6, and 7 line positions of bodies of water correlation. Done by equation. Setting position location is 0 line setting. Sets lines of 0 line in a triangulational communication to new astral projections and set line calculation setting into your pyramid in your projection location of system locations. Okay. Graphing streams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done by equation. Very complicated stuff, but it's actually understanding what is going on with your system locations of travel. Okay, very powerful. Waiting on signal that line rotation position of travels, coming back in this position. Okay, so once you understand how to use the 24 line grounds, it sets position location of 2 lines of zeros. Okay, so that's 2 equals lines of pi. Pi position locations, box lines, triangulation resurface, high calculation, high interference, measure correlation, center position, track communication lines, indicating high interference location, position line, center interference, beta, calculations of theta, theta communication lines, omega, omega line position locations, programs location, high interference, indicating high position location of diamond core, direct signal position of patterns, pattern position of travel lines, setting signals, allocate line interference, time sequence, done. Okay, 2 lines of measure. Line calculations of 2 settings, 2 positions, 2 operation, 2 surface, 2 correlations, and 2 grounds. Okay. Line position, right? Sonar communications, sun lines, high center interference. Position levels, colossal communications into settings, stargates, position of patterns, and high line interference. Cross and stream location of sun and the moon, position of operation. Directing lines of panels. Jupiter line setting high position location of Neptune. Crosses lines of routers, line interference of child position location operation, line setting location, redirect set locations and system position operation. Okay, very complicated stuff. Now, planetary line interference, XT1000 comes in, scans position locations, always scans, right? Notice what it's done. Another comes in position to settings, right? Always scans, in 3 line setting. Always the scans, okay? Done by equation, right? Center communications cross line center, XT1000 line interference, sets position programs. Sets a communication line setting, opens all patterns and high line interference, sets redirect signals and line connections to a seed pod division location of center location of intelligence. There's the intelligence. There's the intelligence right there. You see it? There's the intelligence. It's all set up in location setting. Mega pass. Set location line interference. Here's the intelligence. Okay, and so location. Boom! Boom! It's all set up. It's all set up. All right, so waiting on that rotation. Know exactly what's through all settings. Okay? All right. So drawing the line sequence is really to understand how to set position to locations. This is where it comes into VAST. Now we VAST the correlations, the coordinates. VAST equals lines, box lines. Triangulation line positions of two box locations. This is where you got to understand the shapes and elements in three-track colliding high center interference of colliding. Hydrocolliders, line center, high line rotation, position, travel, position location, program location, high center interference, and one unit location patterns. Got position lines of VAST. VAST lines its volume. Volume VAST locations into velocity, set position travel settings. Sets position travel lines. Crosses lines term interference. One line interpretations. High tractors correlates setting direct signal position operation. Now, plateau line interference. High lines is communication, right? In this setting. All set position. Okay? Done my equation. All right. As you come into triangulation line interference, we have 6 lines of 8, 8 lines of 9, and 9 lines of 12. Now we set position of travel lines. This indicates 8 lines of value, 9 lines of rotation, 9 lines of tethering, high lines of high interference, and 9 lines of tether. Position location of 6 lines of water, 6 lines of provision, 6 lines of tractions, 6 lines location, 6 lines provision, and 6 lines of astral projection. Done by equation. You see how I indicate all lines in volume and value and how it sets positions to your velocity and your acceleration lines and locations through VAST, through box triangulation, reset position programs, and set position operation. Done by equation. Forming the equations, that's what you guys are coming into, more lines of communication. But it's very powerful when you understand what you're coming into is all this line setting and all track to its correlation system in this position location attraction, understanding what's going on with the your line rotation position location to its formula, trying to understand position locations, how level settings, and high center interference, and positional levels. So look at that. Look at the intelligence. Boom. Isn't that amazing? All right. So in that position location, try to understand how this sets position your tones. Tone positions your value, and I guess the VAST, V-A-S-T, volumes, the atom lines, systematic lines of teleportation, which is tango. 4 track locations in 24 million line graphs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 24. Graph location is sun, in line center high position location, the high center location of travel. Now the 24 lines sets position in the other 24 streams. Okay, because you have indicated line interference into space and time, direct signals. So in that line interference, set position location 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, graph locations into walking setting. Walk line center location of VAST, and location of the lines, VAST communications, all setting position of travel lines. Velocity lines, the correlation setting of graphs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 24, set position of travel. Set locations, Stargate line settings, and highest center interference, and all direct signal panel communication setting high lines. But position locations into Stargate line communication. This comes into star maps, guys, into Stargate panel communication. Right? Now, in that line calculation setting, we come into console communications. All right, through your keyboard line stream locations and setting directions. Know exactly what you're going through your perimeters and your parameters and lines of location of your systems, all through site location of Stargate settings of panels. Correct. Position locations, 2 lines of indication, 3 lines of track, 4 lines of provision, and 5 lines of location. Okay, done by equation. So it's all about understanding how this is all set up. Okay, how everything is set up for you to understand how to use your provision locations or anything through cycles of interference or calculation to a system of the center tracks. And then magnetic highway information line comes into a cloud. Center lines is communications. All right. So when you get a position locations, door line centers, dimension lines, high calculation stream locations, cloud changes, line set location dimensional lock line screens, high line interference. Now I'm measuring these correlations in position recording lines. Direct signals, high interference, and distribute cortex, please of cortex, high set location of channel, stream location of high setting, and track communication setting to operation. Okay? Now, how this is put in vision is to understand how to use it through line signals. Position line track, rest locations. Okay, place line positions to its operation. Okay. Now, fire and wiring, plasma line center, high and low rotations, and track communication setting directions. Cloud line change, locations of code weaving, line signal locations, operation surface locations. Now, this indicates high center interference. Your position of the program sets communication setting into your system to its locations. All levels of graph line center line interference in 0 lines and 1 indication, 24 line streams, 0, 1 line interference, and 48 line rotations. Calculation is 0, 0, and line condition is 72, and position location at 144 is center line communication and all line division location of intelligence line center interference of future line communications of the non-line rotation surface and triangulation. Yay! We're done. So try to understand how this is all positioned to your system locations, right? All right, so we're going to wait on that signal. Okay, so how's everybody doing through graph lines? Sure, you understand how to use your seconds, minutes, and your hours now. Seconds are going to change the minutes. The minutes are going to change the hours. Okay? So the faster you go, the more you accelerate, the more lines and communication comes into the minutes of the hours. So you're working with the second lines, which changes the minutes, which changes the hours. The hours change the minutes change the seconds. So that's going direct and redirect. Okay? Your provision line cycles comes into metric scales into 24 million lines of graph and line in position to its operation. Okay? So in that position locations, keep yourself in line calculation setting. Make sure you stay in a 24 line setting, 24 line rotation, 24 surface, and a 24 grounds into your diamond core in position of traction. Okay? That equation. Oh boy. 685-259 Alpha Bravo Charlie. Yeah, copy that. All levels, confirmation signals, high position of track line connection, high system. Charlie, echo lines, 1 line, signature, stream location of setting. Alpha Bravo set locations, Bravo Bravo, line calculation setting, sectors over pi, position track lines. So know exactly how this is set up, is know exactly what you're coming into, position levels and high calculation to a system to set location. Okay. To set location. All right. So that's how it surfaces your line settings. Okay. Now working with the seconds, take it out of the equation. Equation. Okay. Equation equals box, male. Okay. Triangle, female. Okay. Also, this is female, right? But remember, female line center, rotator line interference into low gravity line shift. Okay, so this is female, but position location line setting. Don't get confused at set location. This is female, this is female. So female up, what's above is what's below, right? So in that position, that's what we're coming into, right? Male line center is in position location of 2 box lines. Box equals equation. Okay? Now, understand how this all works, guys, is really understand how to surface your line communications to your settings through infusion. You have hot infusion, you have cold infusion. Correction of timelines. Now, this comes to triangulation and reset position programs. Triangulation of female line set locations, where it indicates what's above and what's below in set location. It's the center communication of setting. Okay? So you get a female line setting into male line rotation. You got a male line setting into a female line rotation. Okay. Now, in that line interference, it changes communications back into female male in set locations. Why? Because it's Mother Earth. Mother Earth is never male. It's always female. So remember that. Don't get confused, because if you change it to male cycle, it confuses line calculation to its female cycle, which basically connects the offline rotation to the crop location of Mother Earth and position rotation or setting line, position of track lines, operation, zero location back to calculation. Okay, so it's important you understand that. Important you understand how that works. Your position to its location, all right, is really understanding this through the female aligned settings of what's above is what's below. Okay, that's what you're coming into. Setting line communications comes in this sign locations in high setting. Track to its location system, very powerful stuff. Setting track to its correlation of direction. Coming in that set locations to a new Merkaba, a new test location. Boom. Okay. So it's understanding that the user female line setting into your male cycles. Okay, set position location of female cycles into male cycles. Bounce their locations. Now that line indication. Now you can change the male cycle into space line. Right? That becomes male female line rotations in your setting locations to your system of travel calculation. Now in that direct line center, you have to bring the sun, you have to bring in the moon to protect location setting and all levels of calculation. Now in that direct line location of female male stays on the ground line. Okay, stays on the ground line of your Earth perception. Okay, so don't get confused and anomaly here. Right. I just want to make it very well clear that you guys have to really understand how to use your triangulation reset position programs. If you have a triangulation line setting, okay, that's a signal line communications, right? Set position to its operation surface. Okay, set location of female and location of female. Female dealing with female. Rotors and routers lines of 2-track location of 4-line division location of setting. Now, in that communication comes this location system. All right, so it's all about understanding how to basically create a new lines of model into your God particle settings. God particle line rotation sets position track lines into lines of 4 or positions of 5 set locations. High calculation lines of Fibonacci lines, this is security and perimeters and line rotation of center of operation surface and set location. Okay, more securities, more line rotation, and direct location of 3-line calculation. Every time you do that, the XT1000 comes in. Scans positions of center line calculation. Okay, sets a calculation line setting, everything that you graph line interference, takes it in position location to the system. Takes it out of the equation, takes it out of the equation, takes it out of the equation. Right? Sets position, travels back to the moon line rotation center. Okay, so you have to understand the objective of what the EXP1000s are doing, right? They're distributors. They're distributing your thought line perceptions to set locations and storing them in line interference into your facilities, which is your calculations to your memory and line calculation to hippocampus into correlation setting track to its position of travel in locations. Okay. Very advanced, yes, Captain. So now you understand the indication when it comes into XT1000 lines. Okay, directing lines, that's way down provision. But I just wanted to show you how this is all set up for you guys. Okay, it's very powerful when you see these things. All set up. Okay. So it's just coming back in your provisions of what you just finished been doing locations of. Right? Maybe look a little bit squabbly or squirrely your line and rotations, but it's all set position of traction. Okay, 3 Earth, all set in high position is now in a product of string locations. Now the indicate line interference is really saying the parallels, how it separates the anomalies, shifting line communication, each one is a different frequency now. So in that line calculation setting, 1, 2, and 3, that's how it's set up. Okay. Now, say track lines, we got to set up these lines in communications. Okay. So in that, let's set location lines. In track location, this is the division locations. This is the Space Academy. Earth, Earth, Earth. Okay. Now, how it's set up is all levels of routers and routers lines, the archetype communication sets, position attractions, gravitational pull, fluctuation lines at 3 set locations. Yeah, that's how it's set up. Now, the constellation path has line communication in this setting. It sets position location on all levels of a seed pod and redirect panels and line calculation setting and all direct system location in your Space Academies. It's at locations. Okay. So ground lines 0, 1, ground line 2, 0, 2, ground lines 0, 3, track locations. high position locations, all levels, 48, 72, and 144. Set position track lines, okay? So you got connection on the lines of Earth 1, Earth 2, and Earth 3. Set in position location in your academies. Travels outline signatures and 3-line rotation surface. Okay, so try to understand how this all surfaces its high set locations. Okay, how it all works in provision. Okay, so we're coming into expansion now of not just academies, but we're expanding out the plateaus. The formation line in the rotations comes into traffic communication setting, direct signals location in your systems. Now, this is where it comes into 144 Stargates provision. Now, set locations. Okay, ask our location. Now, it's going to spread out like this. Like this. It's going to spread out. Okay, spreads out platform. Spreads out platform. Okay, now understand that position location platforms come in this line setting. It comes in this line setting. Okay, in set locations. Sets up line communication of signals and line position locations of platforms. Okay, all position of travel. Now, really understand how this is all set up, guys. Okay, just try to understand how to really get into that setting locations. Okay, try to understand how this is all going to be set up through expansion, through space academies. All right, try to understand how this is all going to be set up. Okay, so but look at it; it's very powerful when you're looking at it, right? It's expanding out, right? So, and again, you get the XT1000s and 2-line track locations, always scanning position locations on everything that you do, everything 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 you do, and everything you do. Okay? So, understanding that position locations. Hola, ¿cómo estás? So, and again, you have to understand how it sets the location in your line settings, how the XT1000s are distributed locations in your SkyNets and SkyGrid and set position. Boom, there it is. It's all done. Okay. Wow, eh? How everything is all set up now. Look at that. We're in 59, setting a high interference, high position location of 20. So, how's everybody feel? Is that a lot of fun? It's going to get more complicated, but a lot more fun now because you guys are working with your God particles and you have to really understand how to merge. Take your time in your line calculation setting when you're looking at things through perception because you become these things through GOD. The God particles now can merge into anything through manifestation, solubles, mute. Mutation, setting lines, I set location of travel lines. Setting line communication interference, waiting on signal. So let's say you go through perception line setting. This is all location. This is a door. This is U-line rotation, travel calculations, right? That's a door. And you're looking at it right away in 3-line signatures, right? Pulls you in, boom. Now you're the door. Now you're inside the door. You become the door. So you can't get out. You can't get out. Can't get out. Can't get out. Can't get out because you got in there too fast. So at set locations, find a way to understand what it is through structure. Really understand the line settings. How many track locations of information panels? Everything has a set location of minutes and hours. So every time you change your particle stream in line calculation setting, it directs signals into separation. This is your particle system going into the line condition of the door. It becomes the door. You don't just see the door. You don't become the door. You are the door. There's your particle going in line calculation setting into graph. Point system locations. Okay, this is the door, right? It's all particles, 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 particles. This is you separating and position locations that come in all levels of GOD into the door communication setting direct signal location to its operation. That's you teleporting into the door. You become the door because now you can morph. God particle. God particle. Okay? So that's what you got to be very cautious of now through perception settings. Take your time with that. Your perception changes seconds lines. You're in a 24 million line stream location now. Okay, so that's a lot of graph line set location in your systems. But understanding what you're doing through structure. So you become the structure. It's like if you want to become one, you're like, I'm one now. How do we get out of frame? Right? You didn't take time to communicate with the intelligence. Everything has a set lines of communication of center and set position all levels. The intelligence brain, guys. Okay? It's the image in between. All right? Everything that you indicate through perception has all calculation setting. A car. Okay? A car. There's a car, right? You're here, and you want to become the car, you scan the center, right? You protect yourself first, very important, because you don't know what you're up against, right? So basically, gets the signals. Car is getting an alert system location. So in that set line connectivity center, you have to really understand what you're doing through provision, right? So in that line connection system, you teleport as the car. And the car merges into you, into a particle accelerator. Cellular lines of infusion, continuous force line sending high interference to position location near parallels, sets track to its communication setting. You become all levels, position and track to its correlation setting to grounds, and set position all levels into a car at set location. Mega pass. Because you took your time to understand what you're looking at. Right? Never have a direct signal, always be an observer, be an onlooker. Look out by looking in. All right, setting position and track to its communication setting. Here's a box. Yeah, there's a box, right? Now, this is you. Okay. Looking in. You are not in. Okay, you're looking in. Set location that set interference. Send in that track locations, because if you don't do these things, line communication, the actual box becomes inside of you, which is a locked line condition. You don't want to do that because it'd be hard to get out because you didn't take time to communicate with its intelligence. The intelligence line, frame line. When I went through line interference, I was trying to understand why I was doing these things, and I was trying to figure out why am I this and why am I that, and I had to understand how to get out of these things. How to understand how to get out of the wall, understand how to get on my computer, understand, oh my God, I just got into my pen. How do I get out of my pen? So you got to reverse the cycles. You can't add equation. You got to reverse because you're going back. But when you're going back, you're going forward. So don't get confused your anomalies because you're saying it a paradox. You want to set a paradox because you change your paradigms that change your polarities and your positions, your pulsars. Calculate high interference and position of attractors correlate setting of vortex with your stream locations. So you reverse your line patterns and line conditions all levels that change the argument communication setting and traction. Right? And then you have to keep adding default channels back into its original plan. And you don't want to do that. You want to put your position locations, get out of the equation, reverse the cycle and condition setting, put position levels, copy and paste, whatever you want to do that correlation setting, embed it in line interference and traffic communication, and enable its set location to a system through fragmentation. Or you be in line communications at default, line calculation lines at defrag, and line communication to confusion to all line calculation high and line interference into all communication of virus. Its applications. Because you couldn't find a way to get out of a box line set location in your systems. You didn't take time to set position your travels in all position to your system and location. You can't get out. 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 So now you have to understand what a God particle can do. Mortal gods are coming into that line center locations, but you guys have always had that set position of travels. This is a different level of perception. This is a different level of location phenomenon. Seeing things in all ways and forms through its own position location of its GOD. Okay? Its own geometric operation design line setting. Okay, that's it. 510. Adios.